A flexitarian is someone who is a vegetarian most of the time, and for 1, maybe 2 days out of the week, they will eat meat. A lot of the times, flexitarians are really vegetarians in transition. It makes it very easy if you can take things step by step, usually starting with a meatless Monday and then working your way through the rest of the week. But it doesn't always have to be that way. Many flexitarians are happy where they are. For a short while, I was convinced flexitarian was what I needed to be. The next step you have is a vegetarian. Now, vegetarians today vary greatly as far as what they will or will not eat, but the traditional vegetarian before Christianity, the Buddhist monks, the Hindus, they would only partake in the drinking of milk on occasion. Certainly not to the level that we do today. And then the next step from that is the vegan. Now, the vegan is more recently a response to our modern system. There are a lot of things wrong with the way that we treat animals versus the way they were a long time ago. So vegans really put a foot down to any exploitation of animals, any harm, and of course, they put a foot down to any killing of animals. So the vegan is the next step. Absolutely no animal product whatsoever, even honey, because that's, it's an insect, but you're still exploiting the organism. And these bees are in what's equivalent to a factory farm, only for bees. They end up being deficient, they get sick, they're susceptible to mites, then they get treated, the equivalent to the way cows are treated, where they get antibiotics and they're miserable. And they're not allowed to behave the way they naturally would. They are prisoners. So many vegans do not eat honey for that reason. But the next step from that is actually the raw vegan. Raw vegans do what they call eating from the Garden of Eden. And so they are simply picking from the tree and eating it. They are cultivating in a way that they are not cooking anything. And so they're eating it in its natural state, what they call live or living food. And in a way, it's kind of nice because you're a lazy vegan. You don't have to cook anything. You just eat it and enjoy it for what it is. So for those of you who are already vegan, you can try raw vegan. I am trying it. I do believe that having both cooked and raw is also very important too. But do what is comfortable for you and understand that you don't have to stay stagnant in one form or another, and you don't even have to label yourself at all. I did not label myself for a long time. I didn't say that I was vegan. I simply would say no thank you to certain things. So you don't have to feel like you have to fit in. Just do what's comfortable for you. Let's say we just look at the health benefits, we just look at the health side, okay? What I mean is the bad cholesterol, the LDL, only being in animal products, and the good cholesterol, HDL, only being made by the human body, or, by your own body. Your body makes what it needs as far as cholesterol, which means it is not an essential nutrient. Essential meaning the body cannot make it, it must get it from a food source. So it is not essential. Your body makes it all by itself. You have all the cholesterol you will ever need. So anything in excess is just that. It is excess. It's what you do not need, and it is harmful. But let's say, okay, you're not going to drop dead because you eat a hot dog, or at least not one. Eat it for your lifetime, yes. By the age of 40, you will be dropping dead, but 1 or 2 isn't really going to hurt you. So this is where people who are new to the concept and new to the diet get confused, because they look at the health data and the most famous test when they were doing percentiles, 5% protein from animal showed no harm. But when you think about it, 5% protein from calories is extremely low. In fact, I wouldn't advise anyone go below 6%. So you're actually in a deficient state as far as a safe amount is. Not only that, it translates to about an ounce of meat a day. 1 ounce is maybe half of a meatball. It's really not much. So let's say, okay, because I was a flexitarian and this was how I read the data, was I said, okay, I can still have my meat. I will just have it once a week, which is what basically a flexitarian tends to be, is you wait until the end of the week to accumulate, like Weight Watchers have points, to accumulate your ounce points. So by the end of the week, I would be allowed 7 ounces, which most steakhouses you can get a 7 ounce. You may have to cheat and do an 8, but every week you can treat yourself to either a steak or a nice piece of chicken. Okay, so I was doing that for a little while where I was totally embracing the health benefits, but I was missing the ethics. So just based on health benefits, I was still able to consume animal products. Now there are other factors. I was only looking at cholesterol because that was my current problem at the time. There are many other reasons why animal products are bad. There are several different types of fats. The very best fats are found in whole plant foods, not olive oil. Olive oil is not actually a good fat. It's okay in moderation, but it's not a good. A good fat means you can practically eat to your heart's content. It will do you good. You will actually lower your cholesterol by eating the good fat. What is the good fat? Walnuts in their whole form, for example. Flax seeds in their whole form, chewed very well, or if you're not going to chew it, if you want a smoothie, grind it up very well in the blender first and then add all your ingredients. But anyway, beside the point, those are fats, quote unquote fats, that you can eat to your heart's content. They will do you good, not bad. Any fat that is in a solid state at room temperature, which of course all animal fat is at a solid state, and it is within the muscle and the marbling. You really can't remove it. Even the lean meat still has it. It's lean, but it's still there. And that is the kind of fat you absolutely do not need. You have no use for. The body does not want to burn it. The good fat your body loves to burn and loves to use, in particular for brain tissue. But this is what I was missing. So just based on watching my cholesterol, I was still able to eat meat. I just could only have it once a week, and it was in a measured amount. Now what happens is, as you start to learn more about your food sources and where you're getting it from, ethics start to come into play. And this is where it really started to hit home with me. And milk just did it, plain and simple. But coming around to meat, I finally reached a realization where I said, okay, well, wait a minute. I am completely balanced as far as my nutrients go during the week. I'm really only having meat as a luxury item. It's really just a treat. And so when ethics come in, you think about it and you say, well, really now the animal is dying in vain, because now I am no longer being an indigenous person. I am no longer killing this animal because I'm starving. I'm no longer killing this animal because I need its nutrients. I'm really killing this animal just for my own pleasure. And this is where veganism steps in. This is clearly not okay for me, because I don't need to eat the animal products. I don't need to. It's really out of my own gluttony. It's my luxury that I'm going to have this thing. And when you see how they're killed, it's really wasteful. Very wasteful, because you don't need it. My dog needs it. He has very large fangs. He does not have the enzymes that I have in my saliva for breaking down carbs. His are meant for breaking down proteins, and they're in his stomach, not in his saliva, which is why he swallows his food whole. I am not saying that wolves are bad or evil. No, no, no. The human race has no need for animal products. It is only for survival purposes, such as the Eskimo, where there is nothing else during the winter. Now, in the summer months, Alaska can be beautiful and there's plenty to eat, but in times of famine during the winter, unfortunately, that is all they have. That is different. They're eating out of necessity. I'm a very civilized human being in the U.S. I have no need to consume animals, none whatsoever. And so I was beginning to have major conflicts with my flexitarian diet. Now, upon becoming vegetarian, it was still very nice and easy because I could still have cheese, I could still have milk, I could still have ice cream, da 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 da. The reality is those are all bad foods too. Ice cream, really, do I need it? No. Cheese, do I need it? No. It is solidified fat with a bacteria in it to make it taste good. If you don't believe me, make your own cheese at home. Taste it. What does it taste like? Nothing. Tastes like nothing. The flavor comes when it is aged. And it is aged with bacteria. So really, it's the bacteria that makes it taste so yummy. It's really not the cheese itself. So really, I was clinging on to foods that I really should have given up a long time ago anyway. I was weaned, when I was very young. I decided, nope, I didn't want milk anymore. I wanted to eat my solids. That was my body telling me I was done. Milk is for babies. So that, again, is not a necessity. I don't need it. It's great for putting on bulk. It's great for making a small calf into a massive animal very quickly. And the same with people. I mean, the rate of growth is enormous for a reason. It's your jump start on life. It's how we're able to survive. Milk is for babies, period. As I had mentioned in other videos, I wanted to have my own cow. I wanted to control the circumstance. I know what's in it. I feel safer drinking it. And then I realized that I would have to kill her baby or get rid of it somehow, which would mean death, because it won't be drinking its mother's milk, and then I would be drinking it, which made me feel awful. How awful that I would take a baby away from its mother so I could drink her milk. That's just disgusting. As a woman, I won't do it. You want to talk about women's rights and controlling your own body? She definitely has no control over her body because we control every aspect of it. We get her pregnant and we take her milk and we take her baby. Terrible, terrible. If it ever happened to a human being, no one would allow it, and yet to animals, apparently it's okay. But that was my decision, and that the moment I found out, I said, that's it. I don't care if I never drink coffee again until I figure out what I'm going to do. I am not drinking milk. I am not eating dairy products whatsoever. And then, thankfully, within 24 hours, I found out there are plenty of alternatives to it, even with cheese. Anything you can do with milk, you can do with just about or cow's milk, any other type of milk. Soy milk for a while I didn't embrace because the studies I knew about were actually rat studies that were showing negative effects. It turns out rats have no business eating soy, but in humans it actually has benefits. It's actually good for you, not bad or sketchy like it was in the rat studies. So human studies is what proved to me that this was a good food source for me. Once I found that out, very, very easy to make the switch, and I actually love it now. I actually really enjoy, and you're gonna think it's crazy, you don't know until you try it, but I actually really enjoy firm tofu. Rinse it, and it's all protein. So it's got a nice, chewy, dense texture, and then you marinate it. I like to cook onions in the pan and sweat them so the juices come out, and then I put in the tofu pieces so it soaks like a sponge in the onion, the caramelized onion flavor, and it's so, so good. It's a great food source. Not a whole food, but you really have to do a lot to it to make it bad. So it's really the next best thing to a whole food. Honestly, it's better than olive oil. then I start to delve into the environmental, and it just further proves the point where I say, okay, now it is full spectrum. Now everything makes sense. Until you reach that point, you will cheat, you will have conflicts, you will be unsure if you're doing the right thing. You really need to come full circle, really come to all of the information to be a true vegan and really look at animal products as lowly. I mean, I have no desire, none. I have lost all craving for it, to be perfectly honest. After about a month, maybe a month and a week, I had no desire. Before that point, every now and then, I really just wanted a burger. I really just wanted a piece of chicken, but now I have absolutely no desire. It kind of grosses me out, to be honest. That sliminess on the chicken, that's not juice. Chickens don't have juice, they have blood. So what is that? It's just it's a bacteria soup. That's what it really is. There are things about animal products now, it's a carcass, it really grosses me out because I no longer have the addiction to it. I start to see it for what it is, which is a dead animal, and I have no desire to eat it. And it will sound strange to you, just like not drinking alcohol sounds crazy to an alcoholic. It's the same here. I just have no desire to consume it, whether before I thought it was pretty great. So it's funny how you change. It's funny how the body adjusts. When you're a child, you know, when I was a kid, I hated mustard. Now I love mustard. What changed? My palate changed. It's the same thing. Very natural, very real. It will happen. You just have to give it enough time. 1 month, you will notice all of a sudden you just don't care about meat anymore. Really kind of odd when it hits you. You realize, you go, oh, that's kind of weird. I haven't had a craving for any of this stuff. And I even went to a pig roast and I had no desire to eat any of it. Actually, it all looked really disgusting. It was all swimming in grease and just looked really nasty. So it's a funny thing when it happens to you, but you only know until you try.